Good YouTube? It's jazzlovesmma here, and we're breaking down UFC 326. It's a stacked card. Let's get it, man. I feel like I waited a little too long to record this, so let's get it. As you can see, the Miami shirt. I am ready, hyped for this card, and yeah, man. Let's break it down. Charles Radke versus Francisco Prado. I'm gonna lean Charles Radke. This is a very short notice fight. I opened up Discord by accident. Anyway, Charles Radke versus Francisco Prado. I'm going to lean Charles Radke. Sorry, I just think he's better everywhere. I don't see him getting a finish, as you can see with Francisco Prado's fucking absolute hammer of a head. I don't think he's gonna get knocked out here. He's like if Vittori was undersized for welterweight or for middleweight, right? Um, so I don't think Charles Radke's gonna get knocked out here. Maybe he gets a sub, but I'm gonna lean Charles Radke's decision. Just think he's a little bit better. The guys that Prado been losing to is like Zahuber, for Netikov. That's a stinky loss. That's a really bad loss. He could have arguably won it. I think I gave it to him live, but it is what it is. I'm going to lean Charles Reddick decision. He also had a camp already. He was supposed to fight last weekend, I believe. That fight got moved to here. So yeah, I'm going to lean Charles Radke with the better camp as well to win a good 30-27 decision. Moving on to Kelvin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque. I'm pretty 50-50 on this fight. I feel like I'm 50-50 on all these fights. Well, it's whatever. I'm going to lean Kelvin Gastelum. I just think I can't trust Vicente Luque after his last couple performances. It's hard to trust Kelvin Gastelum, and I think I've faded him in a lot of his fights lately. But I just think he's better than Luque right now. It is at 185, so maybe Vicente Luque's chin's back. Maybe his confidence is back, but he has looked so pretty bad, to be honest. And I think Kelvin Gastelum will just pick with a 1-2-1-1 and win a decision. I don't think it's going to be a good fight. And yeah, Kelvin, he might miss weight for this. This is a short notice for him. So I can't wait for tomorrow weigh-ins to see if he misses weight or not. Yeah, as you can see by his frame here, why is this doing this, bro? Does the UFC website actually suck? Okay, we don't get to see his build. Anyway, we're gonna move on to Chris Padilla versus Marcel Medeiros. If you know jazzlovesmma, you know I love me some unranked lightweights. I specifically love Chris Padilla. He's a very underrated guy. Not in this matchup, but for most of his career, he's been on the underdog. He's been very underrated. He's been my dark horse of the UFC unranked lightweight division. He's fighting Marcel Medeiros. This was supposed to be, I think, Marcel Medeiros versus Sadikov. So, yeah. But I'm going to pick Chris Padilla here by round 2 finish. And I'm saying finish because Marcel Medeiros has looked awful in the grappling against his last 2 fights and his only 2 actual UFC fights. He got his back taken, I believe, by Hubbard and by that. I forgot who he fought. I think he also came off the Contender Series. But I think it was a short-nosed opponent in Mexico who he was battering the legs of, and he still kind of got out-grappled in moments in that fight. Chris Padilla is a really crafty grappler. He's a really crafty fighter. I just made a post about it on Twitter a couple of minutes ago, maybe like an hour ago by the time I remember me recording this. But he is really good. He makes really good reads. I don't think he's going to get his leg chewed up by Marcel Medeiros. He was getting heavy leg kicks landed on by Rong Zhu, but I think Rong Zhu hits harder than Marcel Medeiros. Marcel Medeiros really isn't a good finisher at all. He is decent. He is technical, but I just think that Chris Padilla is the way bigger threat in this matchup. He can move. He can work off the back foot, work off the front foot. He has great pressure. He has great counters off the back foot, as you can see in the Rong Zhu fight with the elbows he's landing. He has a great team with him. Him and his corner sync together beautifully. So I'm just going to lean Chris Padilla. I can see a submission, but I might just pick TKO, KO in round 2. Maybe just catches a chin, ground and pound stoppage, or maybe catches a takedown, lands a brutal ground and pound, gets a stop there. I'm incredibly hyped for this fight though. Marco Medeiros could survive to a decision maybe, but he does have the attributes that Jai Herbert did with how long he is to, I think, give Chris Padilla issues. Moving on from the early prelims to the prelims, Tatiana Suarez versus Lupe Godinez. I wanted to be the hardcore guy and be like, I don't know, man, Lupe Godinez, look, he's got this. And I do think she has a chance. But I'm going to lean Tatiana Suarez. She's going to just smudge Lupe Godinez, man. Lupe Godinez she has some decent grappling, and she has some decent stand-up. So 50-50 in this fight. I think I'm just going to pick Lupe Godinez here. No, I meant Tatiana Suarez. I'm picking Tatiana Suarez right now. I just think she's going to be able to get the takedowns, and Lupe Godinez is going to stay at the bottom. Maybe she'll scramble. She might have some good moments on the feet. She's going to get taken down again, and it'll be rinse and repeat like that for the rest of the fight. I don't like that Tatiana Suarez had a worse performance against Amanda Lemos than Jillian Robertson. So that is pretty worrying. Moving on to Mateus Gamma versus Esteban Ribovics. Again, if you know jazzlovesmma, you know I'm a huge Esteban fan. I think I'm gonna pick Esteban Ribovics. I made a couple tweets about this. I think he has really good scrambles off bottom, and the output he has on the feet is crazy. And I think if you're able to scramble off bottom against Gamera and get up onto the feet, you have a better chance than just having a good initial takedown defense. As you can see in the matchup before that Gamera had against unranked prospect in, I believe it was Ludwig Klein. He has very good takedown defense, but once you start chaining the wrestling, you start getting onto a single leg, start getting onto the double, and you just start chaining all that together, he's like a fish out of water. When he's off his back, he doesn't have a lot. He's just able to get smudged. You even see that in the Becky fight, he couldn't really get out of there. Of course, he had a broken ankle in that fight, but he still just kind of stayed off the bottom. Nothing really happened. So I'm gonna lean Esteban Richardson's matchup. I think he could do something similar to what Dan Hooker was doing, putting output on him, putting combinations. There is a world where Mateus Gamma just dominates him in the ground, holding him over 3. But I think Esteban Ribovics might have a tricky round 1. He's open to straight shots, and that's something Gamma has really underrated boxing with his 1-2s and 2-1s, especially when he switches stands. But I think Esteban Ribovics, another science switcher, and I think he's going to have the combos and the scrambling to get out. He's a nasty Kimura that he could pull, and he hasn't really had his grappling tested since his debut against Loic Rakhchabov, and even then that was a short-nosed opponent for him. It wasn't short-nosed for Esteban, but the opponent was short-nosed. So yeah, this is a fight that I'm not super confident. I might switch to Gamera, but right now, the official pick is going to be Esteban Ribovics, barely. I think he's going to make a war. I think he's going to make a scrap out of it, and the scrambling is what's going to help him win. Moving on to Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. I feel that Kevin Holland will win this, but I'm never going to pick Kevin Holland to win a fight. I'm going to have to pick Randy Brown here. I just feel like he wants to win more in his career than Kevin Holland at this point. His chin worries me a little bit, but I just think he'll be able to win this. Yeah. I just can't trust Kevin Holland. I don't have much of a breakdown here. They both are very similar fighters. I think Kevin Holland maybe hits a little bit harder, like he has a little bit more snap to his like one-shot KO power than Randy, but I'm just gonna have to lean Randy Brown having the better chin. No, not having the better chin. I'm just gonna trust him to win. Him wanting to win more than Kevin Holland right now. So yeah, I'm worried for this pick, but Randy Brown is the official pick. Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. This whole card is full of like 50-50 matchups. I don't know who to pick. Do I pick the gritty, somewhat durable veteran in Patricio Pitbull? Or do I pick the chinny glass cannon Aaron Pico? Patricio Pitbull, I believe, knocked out Danny in round one. That's pretty impressive. Because that was before Maguzi Costa caught off that spinning back kick. Mm, mm. Very tricky matchup. Aaron Pico's very fast. He looked good against Leroy, but then he got caught, and I think I'm worried that he might just get caught by Pitbull here. Because Pitbull does hit hard. He has a nice right hand. He can't crack. Like, he just has decent pop. Even though he didn't finish Ige, I think he dropped him to a knee at least. He hurt him. He was rocking him in moments of that fight. So I'm very much convincing myself that Pitbull will win this by KO in round one. And I see that happening. I think like a round one, round two KO for either of these guys might happen. Pico is good though, man. He is pretty good. It's just his chin. Like, can I trust his chin to like? Oh, it's I don't know if it's really necessarily his chin. It's just his defensive moments leads him to get KO'd. But the way he's sounding in these interviews, I'm gonna pick Pico by round one slime out. Pitbull is durable, but I can see just Pico putting hands on him in round one. It's gonna be his pick. I'm not super confident, but Pico round one KO. Let's get him, man. Pico's Barber. Shout out Pico's Barber on Twitter. Moving on to the first fight of the prelims of the main card. Sorry, Cub Swanson's retirement fight versus Nate Landwehr. I'm going to pick Cub Swanson by round 3 KO or decision. He is coming off that very fucking like almost fight of the year against Billy Q, Quintero, I think his name is. Nate Landwehr is coming off 3-2 back to back round 3 KOs to Doo Choi and Morgan Charrier, who they're good competition, but they're not the best. And I think this is going to be a very scrappy fight, round 1 to round 2. But I think Swanson's going to eventually find that shot, and I think he's going to eventually put away Nate Landwehr in round 3. Maybe he survives, maybe Landwehr's durability holds up into a decision, but I do see Club Swanson winning this fight. I just think even though he's older, he is the better fighter. He's been at the top way longer, and Nate Landwehr's kind of just always been in this unranked area. So I'm gonna lean Cub Swanson, round 3 KO. I don't see it really happening earlier. Nate Landwehr doesn't really get finished earlier a lot of his fights, especially recently. Moving on to Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker. Voices in the air ass matchup. Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker, man. The battle of the chins. I'm going to lean Dominic Reyes. I think his counters and his counter left is going to be really good here. I don't know how Johnny Walker survived Ming Yang Chang. Maybe he was just like, he had a really big, strong mentality that fight that he just didn't want to get chinned or his career was over. Reyes coming off that KO loss to Ulberg. Again, I don't see Walker doing something. Maybe this is like the span moment. Reyes' confidence is gone. He just gets chinned by like a random jab. I just don't see it happening. I'm gonna pick Reyes moving on the back foot, and he just catches Walker with left. I think that's why Goliath caught Walker with as well, I believe. So I can see Reyes catching him something similar. Yeah, the pick is gonna be round 1 KO for Reyes. If this fight goes to a split decision, I would not be shocked with the way fights go. Curtis Blades versus Josh Hockett. Josh Hockett with the schizophrenic media day. Very interesting stuff. Curtis Blades. I think Curtis Blades is going to win this. I do not get where a lot of people are saying Josh Hockett has amazing stand-up, man. He has better striking than Curtis Blades. I don't see it. Curtis Blades is like underrated boxing. He's a Gamrot match, dude. He's a little his 1-2s. He was catching Aspinall. And then he got flatlined. But Hockett doesn't have the power, doesn't have the speed. Maybe he has the speed of Aspinall. But he doesn't have the technique of Aspinall. And I don't think he has the striking of Aspinall to just blitz and catch Blades and put him on cold like that. He doesn't have the power, I don't think. He fought fucking Max Jimenez, bro. Who is that, dude? He's like a fat Brazilian jiu-jitsu nerd. Like, did he beat up fucking Freeman? I forgot his first name. And everyone thinks he's ready to be number ranked 5, Curtis Blades. Like, no. Blades is gonna box this dude's head off. He's gonna stuff his takedowns and he's gonna piece him up. But I'm gonna pick Blades by decision. But I could see something like the Almeida fight for Blades, where he gets a round 2 KO, Hawkins on a takedown, and Blades just hammering the side of his head. Maybe reverses position, gets a ground and pound. So yeah, the pick is gonna be Blades here. That was a feature fight, that's right. The co-main event of the evening, Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. Moving up from middleweight, no reason, finding number 6 light heavyweight. Tricky fight again, man. It's all for cards full of tricky fights. I'm gonna lean Paulo Costa by decision. I am worried because defensively he does get caught a lot. He was getting caught and rocked by Marvin Vettori. He was getting tagged up in round 3 by Kopylov, who is a fast southpaw. But man, I think Lighterman's skill. I can't pick against it. I just think Paulo Costa is gonna slam those body kicks, and I think this will be a very tricky night for Azamat Murzakanov. I don't see Murzakanov getting around 1 KO here. And I can see Paulo Costa. He's not cutting weight, so he's not gonna get out, and he's not gonna slow down in round 3 like he did against Kopylov. So I'm gonna lean Paulo Costa decision. Just not super confident. I wouldn't be surprised if he eventually gets caught. Especially with the way he shows up against the fence. Ripe for some knees by Murzakanov. Ripe for some combinations. But I will lean Paulo Costa. Moving on to the main event. Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. I believe he will bring a storm. I think Yuri's going to bring the storm. Carlos Ulberg doesn't do well under pressure. Guys like Jan Blachowicz, who made a tit for tat, that's the pace that Ulberg can go at. A chinny dude who will charge in. I don't know what the fuck Riz was doing. He just charged in and didn't commit to anything. Got chinned. Menifield charged in like a retard. Ulberg caught him, chinned him. And Yuri, well, the way I'm saying that is awful, but Yuri's defensively safer than those guys. Even with his, he also isn't chinny. Like I don't think Ulberg's gonna like catch him with like a slappy left hook and put Prochazka down. He may rock him, like the Rakic fight, he was getting rocked, but I don't think Yuri's gonna get hurt and like drops and then finished. Carlos doesn't hit as hard as Alex Pereira. Ulberg was like barely rocking Ozdemir, who like Yuri fucking put out cold, and Yuri's also eating shots off Ozdemir. So I just think Yuri's gonna bring the storm. I don't know if it's gonna be early. I see Ulberg just being floating on the outside for the first 2 rounds, and Yuri not finding anything, tapping at him with his own low kicks, catching with some straights. But round 3, I think he's gonna pour it on, and I think we're gonna see a round 3 or 4 KO for Yuri. I think Ulberg's gonna melt under the pressure. He's the older dude and less experienced guy, so I'm going to lean Yuri. Don't mind my laptop dying. Yuri's just getting the KO, and we will be getting the belt back. I think Yuri's gonna get the belt back in Miami, and I just don't see in any other way. I have a weird feeling that Ulberg's gonna get a decision. He's just gonna tap at Yuri, but I don't think Yuri's gonna let himself just get low kicked and jabbed for 5 rounds. Like, he will catch Ulberg eventually, and then like a brawl. Like the guys who put pressure and get themselves chinned, or like guys with like weak chins, like Menifield and Reyes, who are chinny. Jan Blachowicz was eating Ulberg shots. I did think Ulberg won that fight, but it's whatever. But I believe Yuri will get the belt back around 3, around 4. I wouldn't be surprised if it's early, but I think he's gonna slowly break Ulberg, and we're gonna see him win the belt, and we're gonna go. Let's go for that. I don't have any other videos planned for the week, so I hope you guys enjoy this next couple of days. Hope you guys enjoy the card. I'll be doing a full card breakdown or my reactions immediately after the fights happen. So enjoy the fights, enjoy the card, enjoy the rest of your week, And I'll catch you guys another time. Peace.